So a home has a story when you walk in, where it's located, how it's built, just the style of the architecture, and that's telling a story, and I try to feed into that.
You just heard from Ashley Chotai, owner and principal designer at Ambiance Viera. If you're wanting to learn more, stay tuned. Hey guys, it's Diana Thornton, local realtor here on the Space Coast, and I'm here with my sweet friend Ashley Chotai,
Hello.
Principal designer and owner of Ambiance Viera.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited for this time.
Yes, me too. So what is your favorite thing that you're seeing right now with design?
There are so many things that are exciting. Everything about design actually excites me. But the trends right now, honestly, one of the main things is sustainability of product. People are very interested in quality pieces that have a story to them.
Sure.
That are made well, built well, have some interesting detail to them, and something that's going to last and that they'll be able to pass down or be able to share the story with house guests. So that actually really excites me.
Now, when you're designing your own personal space, what do you look for most? And what have you done to your personal house?
Got it. Whew. Okay, so I always believe in designing a home the way the home is speaking to you. So a home has a story when you walk in, where it's located, how it's built, just the style of the architecture, and that's telling a story, and I try to feed into that. So when I went into my home that has a water view along the back of the home, and just some of the choices that had already been made in the house, I felt like it was leaning towards a light and airy kind of coastal feel. I'm drawn to white and blues anyway, so
I love white and blue. Super classic.
Super classic, and just very happy.
Yes.
And I'm a gold girl, so, yes. I added a lot of like that chic gold to kind of balance it all off. So I have some woven textures, but I also have a lot of gold, whites and blues, and it makes me happy. Modern coastal is what I would call it.
I love it. Perfect.
Yeah.
What is the most interesting design piece that you've ever done?
So I feel like I have some really fun experiences around Brevard here designing, but I was able to do one about 3 months ago that was a pop culture theme, and she wanted it to be like Palm Springs, blacks, whites, and a lot of vibrant color. Like no color was off the table. I could bring as many colors in as I wanted. The outcome was really unique.
Okay.
It was a very fun project. So I would say that's top of my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit more about Ambiance Viera. I've known you personally for years, which has been such a blessing, but also, what exactly does Ambiance Viera do?
So we are definitely a boutique interior design firm. So we are small. We're really proud of that part of it because we are so quality focused. We like to manage each project with intention and to be present and to be involved in each selection and how it's coming together and curate those spaces. After all, design is art. So we just like to stay intimate with our clients and our projects. But we are redesign, remodeling, and consulting. So we can fully redesign a space in someone's home. We can remodel a space in your home. Or if you want to do all of the work and be part of the parts and pieces and the process, then I'll also consult with you and just do that, in session format.
Okay.
So consulting has been a big part of our business as well, but we love it. Yeah. Small jobs, big jobs, full homes, new builds.
Yes. And you've also done outside of Brevard County too, which has been so fun to see how you've just grown, especially I feel like in the past year or so, you guys have just expanded and exploded in so many different levels. So
that's so sweet. We're very thankful. It has grown, and it's grown fast and well, and we try to manage that well.
Yes.
We do get a lot of interest from Orlando, and so we have taken on quite a few projects in Orlando. But, we also try to vet each client and make sure that we're a good fit for that type of distance. And we've also networked with really great partners in Orlando and Brevard so that we're set up to accommodate different needs from Orlando back here to the Space Coast. So.
Absolutely. And now you've also done more than just residential. So you've done commercial spaces as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I would say it's definitely not our primary service since we love helping people love their homes. But with clients especially that we're very established with and they want their businesses refreshed, we've been able to do that, and that's also been wonderful. So just different places around Brevard. We enjoy helping their business come to life, because after all, businesses are also a reflection of how their space feels.
Yes.
And when they see that and they get to enjoy the results and see the difference in their business because it's beautiful, it gives me great joy.
Absolutely.
It really does.
What do you think is the most crucial for clients to do before selling their home?
I mean, all the stats are out there to support
Yes.
that staging makes all the difference.
Agreed.
I mean, clients most of the time are not designers that are buying from you,
Sure.
right? So when they walk into a house, especially here in Florida where there's some interesting layouts, there are formal dining spaces that can feel really awkward. Like, how do we use this? I don't have a formal dining room. I don't want 2 dining sets, right?
Absolutely.
And even sometimes just the grandness of the space, huge walls. It's a huge problem when I go to help clients and they have very, very small pieces of art. I would say for buying a house or you asked selling a house.
Yes.
For selling, it needs to be staged because clients don't have the eye to see it. So when it's set up, not necessarily fully to scale, which is one thing I'm focusing on in design, the scale of an item in a room. Staging, they can be a little undersized and it's forgiven because you're just trying to give an idea, right? But just for them to see, wow, you can have a few vignettes in this one big area.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't have been able to visualize it themselves. So seeing that staging, I feel like it's huge for selling a house. I also think it's worth the seller putting in a little bit to customize really small things because small things go a long way. A backsplash, some simple lighting upgrades, right? Even just really fresh, clean paint. It's amazing the impact that paint has. So yeah, I never discredit paint.
Absolutely.
And don't you find that it makes a big difference when you walk in?
Yes. Fresh paint, fresh pillows, fresh bedding. I mean, I agree with you. Just the small things really tend to go a long way.
It's true.
Yes.
Do you feel like your staged houses go faster?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yes.
The stats are true.
Professional folks. All right. Now, what trends are you seeing right now?
So earthy tones, textures, and vibes are like all the trend right now. So that's why we see a lot of greens, a lot of like mossy and sagey tones, a lot of tans and sandy tones.
I love those.
So just a lot of that earthy vibe. And honestly, one of the trends in 2023 is nostalgia, bringing nostalgia into your design. And so it kind of, for me, I feel like those go hand in hand because a lot of those colors are a throwback.
Yes.
And so when you see those tones or you walk into a space that embraces those colors, you're kind of thinking of someone or something and you remember houses from growing up that had some of those tones. And so it brings the nostalgia back in. And that's why some of those special little thrifted items or vintage items in a design is also adding to that. And they pair well together, those colors and the vintage pieces. So, yeah.
Now, what is your favorite timeless look? Or do you have a timeless look?
Yes. So I tend towards light and bright always. Yes. I love a moody design for like a study or a one-off space. But overall, in any design that I'm typically planning, I'm thinking light and bright. In fact, the base of a lot of my spaces is actually white paint.
Yes.
I love a white wall. You can do so much, and everything kind of pops on a white wall. Hopefully my pink shirt is popping on this white. But yeah, I have a white base a lot, and I think it is classic and timeless. Really, I mean, when you look at a white kitchen, you're like, is it brand new? Was it done 10, 15 years ago? If a white kitchen is done really well, it can stand the test of time for a good while. So my version of classic and timeless is definitely white, a lot of white, a lot of like light and bright. And then for contrast, maybe you could pop in a few like pieces that have a story that were passed down. But even like the blues and whites, I feel like that's timeless. So maybe I'm making an excuse because I love blue and white so much, but I kind of go there in my head.
I love blue and whites too.
Yeah.
So you have a beautiful family. You have 3 kids and a wonderful husband. What do y'all like to do on the weekends and in your free time that you're not designing all over Brevard County? What do you like to do with your family?
We live very busy lives. So when it comes to the weekend, a lot of times we're looking for things that are just going to be relaxing. So we love the beach.
Okay.
In fact, I always say we don't use the beach enough. Do you feel that way too?
Absolutely. All the time.
It's crazy. So we love going to the beach, and the beaches up and down the coast, even all the way down to like Sebastian and the inlet is just gorgeous.
Yes.
Great
family time.
It really is. We love being out on boats of any kind, including like just going on like the dolphin tours and like the things that are right here on the coast. Like we love that.
So fun.
And the kids are super into animals, which leads me to Brevard Zoo. Like that is such a treasure here in Brevard. It's 5 minutes from my house. And so we've had to pass there for like many years and we love going. And it's actually third in the nation. Did you know that?
I did not, actually.
Third.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And I think it's because it's so interactive. I actually have never done that thing where you climb on top, but it looks very, very fun. Treetop track.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of heights, so you won't catch me on there anytime soon, but that's okay.
No, it's a great zoo. And, you know, I'm a shopper, and even though I shop for my line of work a lot, and I never get sick of it.
Yes.
I even like to shop on the weekends. Like on Saturday, we spent the entire day at the Avenue, and I'm like, wow, this is lame. I finally get a break from shopping, and then I'm back shopping. So we hit a lot of stores. In fact, my 3-year-old yesterday, he goes, Mommy, I don't like to go to stores anymore. I'm like, why? He's like, it's boring. I'm like, wow. So I would say shopping and then dining. Like we try new restaurants all the time, from little hole in the walls to like more upscale places. And so that's just really fun. And being a hop, skip, and a jump to Orlando, that makes us happy. We love going to the parks there too. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
So switching gears back to design.
Okay.
How do you, because I know that you travel quite a bit too, to markets and whatnot. So how do you stay on top of like new trends and everything? Tell me about that.
We invest a lot of time into staying on top of like our industry and all the different manufacturing, where it happens, how it gets here, time frames and availability. And partnering with a lot of these vendors that are not available to our clients on the retail market. So we have this whole realm of merchandise that we can get into our clients' homes. And it makes me really proud because that's a part of our business that we invest a lot of time and effort into. We go to High Point multiple times a year in other markets around the United States, learning new vendors, learning their process, learning their price points so we can appropriately pair it with the right job.
Absolutely.
And the right time frame, the right budget, all of that. So it's definitely a part of our business that, you know, it can be time consuming and it can feel like it's never ending because you can never learn it all. But I love it because happy clients, that's the whole point of our business.
Absolutely.
So
actually tell me about how your process actually works. So when I call Ambiance Viera, help with my house, stat, how does that work?
Sure. So typically, people are calling because they want us to do the work. In other words, they're not really calling us for the one consulting service that is a service we offer. They're usually saying, hey, can you come give us one of those magazine-looking rooms? We want that. And so we set up an initial consultation. Sure. It is a paid consultation because it's time-consuming. We go out, usually several of us. We put your home into our software so we can see the full layout. And then we take our photographs. We take every measurement that we need. Sure. We basically get set up so we can begin your job. We build a relationship that day with our client. We learn the style that they like. We learn their budget, how much they'd like to spend. We look at their inspiration pictures, things they've saved for us. They want us to see what they like. We'll look at furniture that they want to use in the space, or a lot of times there's nothing there because they don't want to use anything from their house, which I never complain in that regard. And from there, we provide a custom quote. So we like to quote per space. Sure. It allows people to do things in phases if it gets overwhelming. The process can be a lot of decisions and details and even costs. So if they can break it up, like we've done 5 phases with one family. And we love that. We build a long-lasting relationship and get to curate their home over time. So we'll give them a custom quote per room, and we usually also help them with a mock budget, saying, based on what I've learned from you, the look you want, and even the quality that you're looking for, which can vary, and understandably so, because some people have kids. They're not looking for lifetime pieces in that season of life.
Same.
Right. And then others, they're like, I'm never moving from this house. Like, I'm putting all my money money into it. They're willing to spend more per piece.
Okay.
So we really try to learn that in that initial session and create a budget that is custom to them and work it out where everyone feels like they know what they're getting for those funds. From there, if you sign our quote, we actually collect all of those merchandise funds up front.
Okay.
So I talk about that on social media a lot. I'm like, be ready, because not only are you hiring a designer and paying them to do all of this work for you, and I'll get into what that price includes, but you're handing over all of your funds to shop with up front. Yes. We're no slow Joe. So we get all those funds, and within a few weeks, we've really nailed down the major pieces of furniture, and then we're working on smaller things and the textiles. So be ready with your funds at that point to send them over, and then we get shopping, and we keep all of your goods in our storage. So you don't have to worry about boxes coming to your door. You don't have to worry about picking up furniture, deliveries, any of the logistics that come with doing your own house. Like, forget it. All you do is show us what you like, and then you end up with a finished space at the end, and you haven't done a thing besides send us money.
That's super helpful. That sounds great.
Yeah. So on one day, and I always highlight this, like, it's not happening over a month's time where one piece is showing up or we're delivering something. We come with our team, and in one day, we set up that entire space.
Sure.
And we hang wall art, we hang drapery, we put out the furniture, the rugs, the textiles. That whole room is finished.
Okay.
And it all happens right at once. And you get to walk in just like HGTV and enjoy your space.
I think that's what everyone wants, too.
Yes.
Is just,
Yeah.
There's only an hour that passed, and my whole house is already done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It makes a big difference.
It does.
So that's kind of our process, and we find that it's big hit with clients.
Okay.
They can have some nerves up front handing over their money and even their home to, a design team. But we have had nothing but just people who are blown away. They now trust the process. Yes. They go on to phase 2, usually very quickly, because they're very excited.
That's so good.
And so that's how the process works.
Fantastic. Okay, so now I would love to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Ooh, this is scary. Okay, I'm down for it.
Okay. Wallpaper, yes or no?
100% yes.
Okay.
All day, every day.
Board and batten, yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
What about millwork, yes or no?
Yes. And millwork can tend to be a little bit more traditional and can feel a little bit more classic, but it is actually super on trend right now. It's being used a lot, especially with some of those monochromatic rooms that are fully painted, even like the base and the ceiling. So yes, I'm definitely into millwork. It is a specific look, but I love it.
Okay. Fake plants or real plants?
Ooh. So I'm a plant mama.
Yes, you are. I do know that about you.
I love plants, but I would say 95% of our clients are like, that's a hard no.
Okay.
Like, I cannot take care of a plant. I kill plants. So that is actually one thing we've invested in our company, is finding manufacturers of very realistic looking faux trees and plants. And in addition to it, planters and vessels, big and small, that we can put in people's homes. Sure. So we have actually, I think, almost 150 square feet of plants and planters just for our projects.
Okay.
And they're all faux.
Love it. Sconces or lamps? Floor lamps?
I love them both, but if I had to choose in this moment, sconces.
Okay. Sounds good. Art or photographs?
I'm going to choose art.
Okay.
Only because photographs tend to be what is one of my no's, which are these crazy big gallery walls full of frames.
Okay.
I tend to lean into less is more.
Sure.
So I love family photos, but I'd rather do them on a larger scale and do them symmetrically, like maybe 4 or 6 or 8 of the same frame.
Okay.
Really clean, maybe black frames, white matte, black and white photographs, super symmetrical. I like that look, a very clean look, more than like a busy gallery wall. It's just a style thing, and that's why, design is interpretation at the end of the day, and you have to connect with a designer's interpretation of a space to want them to work for you. So if you like gallery walls, more power to you. It's just not my jam.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Flowers or succulents?
It's definitely per space. I'm super into flowers right now.
Okay.
White
That's
hydrangeas.
funny. I thought you would have said succulents.
Well, I love succulents, and I have them like outside my house a lot. And if we're doing an exterior space, I love using them.
Okay.
But I would say if I'm going for faux plants inside, I lean into more. Like, there's some amazing realistic floral on the market.
Okay.
Thankfully, we have great people to make our custom floral as well. So I can be like, this is the look I want, and they can pull it together, and that helps a lot. So for me, it's interesting because the second you see a home, your mind's thinking about design. Whether you're a designer or not, you're thinking, oh no, where's my furniture going to go? Does it fit? Does it work? So when you're selling homes and you're like doing a walkthrough with a client, do you feel like they're bringing this up often? Like, oh, my furniture and the placement and how it's going to work?
This is so funny that you actually asked that. I was with a client yesterday, actually, and she wanted to see if her table would fit. So I brought out my tape measure.
Good for you.
Yes. So to see what would fit where, how would her couch would go. And one thing that we did bring up was, I was like, if you don't know how to work your space, I have, a great friend who would also come alongside and help you envision your space. So I think that having local interior designers like yourself in our back pockets who are, huge in Brevard County, it really helps us be able to deliver even higher, experience to our clientele too. So
I agree.
So, and to make sure that they feel comfortable with, moving forward with everything too. So.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons we offer the consulting sessions, because sometimes it's just, hey, I need a few hours to ask someone their professional opinion. I need to know how my stuff will fit in here. And I'm not looking to have them completely redo a space, but I have questions I need answered that will set me at ease. And I find that pops up a lot. And I think for realtors, it's a good tool to have. And it's a great closing gift as well, because a lot of times they're going into this new house excited, but a little nervous.
Yes. I have gifted before time with Ashley.
Yes,
for
you have.
clients. So, and that's been a huge, that was great for, both sets of clients that we did that for. So that was a huge blessing. So.
Yay, that makes me happy.
So how do you make sure that you're not repeating the same design?
Ooh, that's a very good question. It's actually something that's very important to Ambiance Viera as well. So we pride ourselves in custom designs.
Sure.
So like we talked about earlier, learning our client, that's a huge part of our process. But also one of the main things is that we do not bulk order or stock any goods.
Okay.
So when we are working with a client, we're actually custom shopping for each piece, for that space, for that client, for that design. And is it more time consuming? Yes. Is it more custom? Yes. And it also is what allows us to work their budget appropriately as well. But because we're not a store and we don't want to be a store, we just want to focus on design. We're not ordering goods in bulk. I think it's that part of our process. Like we're literally shopping for that client with those dimensions and aesthetic in mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that brings me to my next question. How do you stay on top of trends?
On top of trends? Well, like I said, we're going to the markets throughout the year to stay on top of, what's going on in the design industry and who's going on. I mean, it's amazing who pops up at these markets, like the brothers, the property brothers were there this past market.
That's
and Joanna Gaines was at the last market. So it's fun because you get to stay up on trends and people and what's going on, and you get to see it all firsthand. Before it even really starts to become a trend, we're seeing it. And so that's very valuable to us because we're kind of like behind the scenes and getting to see really amazing merchandise too.
Okay.
So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've hired you. So how do I best prepare when you come to my home? How would you suggest that your clients prepare before you arrive?
Can every client ask me that question just like you just did? That would be awesome. Okay. So I always give my clients some homework.
Sure.
And the main homework assignment, besides making sure that they've sent me inspiration so I can kind of get in their mind a bit, is that the room actually has to be cleared for us.
Sure.
So I always say in that time, it is so good to purge, because I would say the biggest hindrance to good design is clutter.
Sure.
Literally. I mean, sometimes we clear out the clutter and I'm like, what? Yeah. This looks amazing. It's not even designed and it looks so good.
Yes.
So sometimes just that negative space. Negative space is part of design. What areas need to be left completely alone? Sure. And that's part of the room without something there. And I think people forget that that's part of the design, that negative space. So decluttering, I think, is huge. And I think it's something people can do as they're waiting for the designer to come. Declutter, get the space fully cleaned. If we're going to be painting or doing any carpentry focal walls or building anything in customization-wise on the wall, if we're going to have a wallpaper installer coming, all of those things, like the space needs to be cleared and clean. And I think purging is so healthy as part of the process because you're like kind of changing your home, and purging is part of that change.
I'm so glad you bring this up. So I think that really translates into the real estate world also. So I think when you're getting ready to sell your home, purging and decluttering really goes so far. So I'm glad you bring that up. So bonus tip.
Yeah, because when you're going to see a house, if it's cluttered, you can't envision yourself there.
I agree with you. Some people can, some people can't. So I try to, as soon as we walk into a space that I feel might be a little bit overwhelming for my clients, one thing that I have them close their eyes and I say, okay, just imagine that this is a blank slate and see what you can do from there. Yeah. So I'm really glad that you brought that point up. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Clutter is like my worst enemy. I like clean surfaces. Even at home, there's nothing on my counters.
I've seen that. Okay, so say that I am at the point in my life where I'm not able to afford to hire a full-time designer or even someone to just come in to do one space. What might be some little nuggets that you would suggest pro tip wise that you would share with people?
I would say the very first thing is just what we said, declutter. And you're giving yourself a gift because if everything's organized and orderly in a space, you're going to be much more inclined to see it aesthetically improve from that point on. But you're not going to be so motivated to aesthetically improve a space that's just cluttered with junk. So number one, I would say declutter. And then number two, paint your walls and give that room a brand new feel with just inexpensive, easy to do paint. And you'll be amazed at the transformation there. And then after that, if you have money to invest in your space, get some new simple pieces of furniture and even look around your house for things that could be rehomed into that space.
I love that.
Look on Pinterest, get inspired, look at the placement of things and the scale and the color popping. And if you're drawn to a picture, really kind of scope out where are they using color? Where is their white? Oh, I like that all of this is light wood. Well, guess what? You like light wood.
Yes.
So tune into those pictures and try to learn from them and just give your space that elevation. You can do it.
I love that. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up, I wanted to ask you, again, your favorite spots to take your kids, so favorite kid-friendly restaurants. And then I want to hear...
That was a...
And then I want to hear your favorite date night spots that you and Lex like to go to.
Okay. Well, for date nights, we really like Florida Fresh Grill.
Delicious.
It's delicious. We've had great meals at Crush 11.
A+ as well.
Right.
Yes.
We love going up to New Smyrna for the garlic.
The garlic is great.
But I know that's not here in Brevard. There's so many. There's a lot of good ones.
Yes.
Our kids, they tend to be more into chains.
Okay, that's okay.
So like balloon night at Texas Roadhouse all day, every day.
Yes.
It's actually on Tuesdays, but they love it. Perfect. They love long doggers. Our kids are super into long doggers.
Absolutely.
And
Great
then
spot.
always Chick-fil-A, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the main ones that come to mind.
Okay.
And Moe's.
Moe's. Welcome to Moe's.
Our kids love Moe's. Yeah, our kids are easy. Like, they just like to be together and they like rice and beans.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for your time today. I think that today was super helpful for anyone who's viewing, our video today. Lots of tips and tricks, and I love hearing, all that you're designing. I can't wait to see what you're going to design next, and I really just appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today. So.
Oh, I really had fun. This was great. Thank you so much for having me and for just listening to all that Ambiance Viera does on a daily basis and letting me share.
Yes, thank you.